former MK veterans have distanced themselves from the march that took place in Gauteng on Monday. The march has since seen Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula engaging in a public war of words with some of the members of the MKMVA. Mbalula has accused the veterans led by Xoli Mngambi and Carl Niehaus of pushing their business agenda at Prasa. Now, in a public fight that erupted on Twitter on Monday, Mbalula said he would not allow the so-called MK veterans to advance their personal interests under his watch. Mbalula has accused Xoli Mngambi of using Prasa security contracts to serve his personal interests. Well, the latest public spat has once again resurrected the tensions within the governing party. Joining me now on the line is General Siphiwe Nyanda. He chairs the MK Council. Babu Nyanda, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us. Firstly, the MK Council, are you in support of the ongoing protests that are being led by the MK Veterans Association, led by Xoli Mngambi?
Good morning, Xoli, and good morning to your viewers. First of all, I'd like to say that, this matter is supposed to correctly be addressed by the leadership of the African National Congress and not an individual leader of the ANC in the person of Fikile Mbalula or a minister. It is the leadership of the ANC. We are therefore concerned that the ANC is not addressing the matter and leaving it to an individual of its leadership. We are asking for a meeting with the leadership of the ANC and have done so in the past to discuss many issues, including that of the unity that is supposed to take place between what you called MKMVA and MK Council, which is a decision of conference at Nazareth to say that the leadership of the ANC should bring these two together. We are obviously appalled by what is going on. Yeah. But we don't know the veracity or otherwise of the claims made by each of the grouping. We know that Mbalula has said that Xoli Mngambi and his grouping are interested in or are aggrieved by decisions that he has taken at Prasa. I don't know about this, but perhaps it is correct. What we are concerned about is just the use of MK veterans to further political agendas. And we really condemn this in the strongest terms. These people, and it's not just those who marched on Joburg, others marched in Devon ostensibly to protest against the leadership of the ANC and decisions that have not been taken or are taken with respect to them.
Mr. Nyanda, let me ask you this question. It's clear in your explanation now and what you think is going on that, first of all, you don't think that this is a legitimate protest that is raising or seeking to raise legitimate issues that is being led by the MKMVA. So a simpler question perhaps to ask you is, what do you think the agenda behind this is then?
I think all these activities are intended to intimidate membership and also some in the leadership, as well as the population. I think it is just false bravado, as if they are a potent armed force. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Could it be linked, General Nyanda, and I'm sorry to cut in, could it be linked to the so-called RET forces, these are radical economic transformation forces, that we know through their pronouncements that they are doing and saying things in the name of the former president, Jacob Zuma. Fikile Mbalula, brave enough yesterday to actually even name the former president, including the current serving Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule. Is that what is going on? Is that the so-called faction of the ANC that is in the corner of Ace Magashule, who leads the ANC as secretary right now at a national level, but also the former president, who is saddled with legal issues right now?
Well, we intend to find out, and we intend to discuss this with the leadership of the ANC. That is why we are asking to meet them. That is why we have asked to meet them. And we think that it is correct for Mbalula to dismiss this grouping with contempt. I think it is just a disgusting, cowardly beating of drums, whatever the PRASA issue. We formed there is an SANDF in the country. There is a legitimate legal entity that protects the democracy of South Africa. It's called the South African National Defence Force. And we, from former MK, former APLA, former Transkei Defence, are part of that, became part of that defence force. It is the protector of our democracy. We have no other army in South Africa. The majority of those who served in MK ended up in the SANDF. Now, we know that in the past, MKMVA was paraded in some way as sort of a private army of some people. And I wrote not so long ago talking about this thing, the danger of having the ANC presenting or seeming to countenance the perception of a private army in its ranks. I think this is incorrect. And of course, we see that what is happening recently, following the letter that the president of the ANC authored to the membership of the African National Congress, following this national revulsion at the corruption, at the COVID-19 looting, was followed up by a reaction purportedly led by a letter ascribed to JZ, but attributed to Carl Niehaus, who parades as spokesperson of MKMVA while ensconced in the office of the Secretary General. Yeah. We wonder in what capacity. So we can draw inferences from what is happening about perhaps the veracity of what Mbalula is saying.
All right. General, it would be remiss of me not to ask you this question. First of all, I think what you are saying and your description of the MKMVA, I think that is well documented. It's fair to tell the public that both your structure that you lead, that purports to represent the former MK combatants, it's not a recognized structure of the ANC, nor is Kebima Patso's structure. I think that we know as a fact. What I've got to ask you, though, is what the Minister, Fikile Mbalula, has suggested here very strongly through his statement, that this has to do with Kebima Patso being upset and his ilk being upset over the cancellation of contracts at PRASA. You've already said that you're not aware whether they were direct beneficiaries of these security contracts at PRASA. But I've got to ask you as well. I mean, you're someone who I understand has had a security company as well. Did you ever benefit from the PRASA contracts yourself?
No, in no way. I have never dealt with PRASA. So I can say without any equivocation that I have nothing to do with PRASA. I don't know whether Kebima Patso and some in the leadership of MKMVA have, or even whether some in MK Council have, but I have absolutely no idea.
General
and I have not done any business with that.
All right.
With
All right. General Siphiwe Nyanda, I thank you very much for your time and really giving us the context of what is going on, because it is confusing right now about whether or not leaders of the ANC are in support of what is going on.